The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Against Norman Bates' release.
Madam, please sit down. This matter is being represented by the district attorney.
Norman was not convicted of murder. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Don't you realize they're going to release a homicidal maniac?
I'm asking you to sit down, Mrs. Loomis.
It's all too obvious. Our courts protect the criminals, not their victims.
Norman Bates is judged, restored to sanity, and is ordered released forthwith.
It's 22 years later, and Norman Bates is coming home.
I own a motel not too far from here, and you'd be welcome to spend the night in one of the empty rooms if you'd like. Good night, Mary.
And he's back in business.
Who is this? My mother is dead. I'm telling you, there was a note on that wheel from my dead mother.
Norman, it couldn't be your mother. It had to be someone else.
But trust her. She would never do anything to hurt me. No. She'll kill you. I know she will.
Look out behind you!
No, I won't do that. You can't make me kill her.
22 years later, Norman Bates is home. Psycho 2.
It's starting again.
All right, guys, welcome to the Summer of Sequels by the Tragedy of Cinema. I'm your host, Jimbo.
And I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Kyle, we have been tossing around the Summer of Sequels ideal for ever since you've been on the show, I do believe.
You keep pressing me on it, and I keep saying, like, nah.
And we're always like, oh, we'll record that later. We'll record that later.
Any day now. You don't need to remind me for 6 months.
When this comes out, this is several months away, I'm sure, but I still have my cold because we just recorded our 5th anniversary Predator. That's when we're recording this.
Yeah.
So, we're going all the way back to one of the, I think, episode 2 we did of Psycho. We are going to be covering Psycho 2 today.
Yeah.
A pleasantly surprising, not bad movie.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not. Who knows?
So, Kyle, before we get started,
you had a question?
Have you ever watched Psycho 3?
No, I've never watched Psycho 3.
Yet. See, you should just lie and say, sure, I've seen that.
Wait till the summer of threequels.
Summer of trilogy of terrors. That'll be the sequels that never should be. Maybe I'll have my dad cover me with that. I can't believe that's a movie.
That's a real movie. That'd be a fair thing to do. I did listen to that last episode, by the way. I enjoyed it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was solid. Your dad's a hoot. It's funny
to you. Playing with a dead body or whatever. So, Kyle, go ahead, take it away.
All right, we have Psycho 2, released on June 3rd, 1983, just 4 years before Predator. After 22 years of psychiatric care, Norman Bates attempts to return to his life of solitude, but the specter of his crimes and his mother continues to haunt him. Directed by Richard Franklin, written by Tom Holland and Richard Block, producer Hilton A. Green, composer Jerry Goldsmith, cinematographer Dean Country, and editor Andrew London. Budget for the film was $5 million in 1983. Adjusting for inflation would be about $15.5 million today. Opening weekend, it made $8.3 million, and adjusting for inflation would be about $25.7 million today. So this movie was a pretty good success, actually. And then gross worldwide, it made $34.7 million. Just for inflation, it would be about $107 million. So actually, it did incredibly well by those metrics, because I'm sure they probably spent $5 million on the budget, but then another $5 million probably marketing the movie, and they made basically $30 million back. So I think this film did very well. No wonder why there's a Psycho 3 apparently. How many did it make? I have no idea. I've never looked up this series that much.
Not enough.
Exactly. Well, there's that Bates Motel show. I meant to watch that sometime. Yeah, but I never got around to it.
I'm sure you own it.
No, I don't know Bates Motel. I don't own many TV shows. Although if it went on sale, I'd be there. Technical notes of the film. We have a runtime of just 113 minutes. Sound mix is Dolby Stereo. Color info, this is a color film. Aspect ratio is a standard 1.85 by 1. Camera used was the Panavision Panaflex lenses. And the film length is 110 meters long. Oh boy, I'm blazing that too fast. I'm talking too quickly. Award for the film. I would say award and not awards, because we only have one award here. Where it was nominated for Best Supporting Actress to Meg Tilly from the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films in 1984. Covering the awards there, we're going to move on to the cast. The cast here is not too shabby, actually. Not too bad at all. We have Anthony Perkins playing the role of Norman Bates. Anthony Perkins, of course, also easily most well known for this role, specifically, as he played in the original Psycho, 1960, as Norman Bates himself. And he was also played a role in the Murder of the Orient Express movie as Hector McQueen. Next up, we have Vera Miles playing the role of Leela. Vera Miles is also in the film The Man Who Shot Liberty in 1962, playing the role of Haley Stoddard. And she was also in the original Psycho playing Lila Crane. Next up, we have Meg Tilly playing the role of Mary. Meg Tilly was also in the film The Big Chill in 1983, where she played the role of Chloe. And she was also in the film Chucky, where she played herself for 2 episodes in the Meg Tilly series of the Chucky television series in 2022. So actually very recent, still doing cool stuff there. Next up, we have Robert Luggia playing the role of Dr. Raymond. Robert was also in such films such as Big in 1988, where he played the role of McMillan, and the film Independence Day, where he played the role of General William Gray. Then next up, we have Dennis Franz playing the role of Toomey. Dennis Franz was in the show NYPD Blue from 2005, and was playing the character of Andy Sipowicz for 261 episodes. Dang, that's a good gig if you can get it, I bet. I'm sure he lives in a nice home now with that kind of money. Hugh Gillian played the role of Sheriff Hunt. Hugh Gillian was also in the film Back to the Future Part 3, where he played the role of the mayor of the city. Then he was also in the film Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, where he played the sheriff of the city. So mayor and sheriff. Cast type. Exactly. This is typecast. Hey, good role if you can get him right. Hey, any work is good work, right? Yeah. Oh boy. Next up, we have Claudia Breyer playing the role of Mrs. Spool. Claudia Breyer was also in the film Bad Company in 1972, and a lot of TV shows such as Bonanza, Hill Street Blues, Dynasty, and Dallas. So good roles for her right there. Then finally, we have Ben Harjton playing the role of Judge. Ben Harjton was also in the film The Hunt for Red October in 1990. And everyone else is kind of into the really characters for the whole film there. So I'm going to, unless we have to mention their role in the film, I'm just going to skip over them for now. But I'm going to keep that cast near me so I can access to it if I need to. But that concludes the cast of Psycho 2. Jimbo, let's move on to that Liberty of Trivia, then talk about the film.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and give an overall view of this
plot movie kind of deal too.
So basically, Norman Bates is up for parole, I guess, and Vera Miles' character Lila, she keeps saying no, you're not going to let this guy. Why are you guys letting this guy out? They're like, well, we've rehabilitated him. He's not a threat to society. And she's like, no, well, it's going to be on you guys when murders start happening again.
Yeah.
So Norman basically goes back to the hotel, to the house, and the hotel is actually being run by Dennis Franz's character, where it's basically used as it's known as what, like a drug house now, would you say?
Yeah, basically like a drug hotel den, like a a real shoddy place now.
Yeah. And so Norman basically says, hey, you got till 10 a.m. tomorrow to get out, or midnight or whatever, get out of here.
Because now his house is back and reclaimed.
So Norman actually gets hired on as a cook in the town, where he runs into a co-worker, which is Meg Tilly's character, where she's basically having trouble with her boyfriend, and Norman's like, hey, you can come up here and stay if you want. I got all these extra rooms, you can stay in the house.
Large house.
He's like, but you can't go in this room. He said, that was my mother's room. And she accepts, but she's still scared. You could tell she's like blocking the door. And,
still uneasy with him too.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take long for there's people that pick on Anthony at the restaurant, picking on the girl, and it doesn't take long for the murders to start happening. But we won't give the big reveal away yet. We'll wait till the end. But the killings aren't going on by who you thought was going on. At least you don't think they are. I still don't really know for sure. I think it says a little bit at the end, but
there's a lot specifically from Norman Bates' POV who can't quite be trusted with even his own actions or even his own knowledge of those actions. So it does play for a little bit of a mystery throughout the whole entire film. Is he committing these murders? Is he not? Is he just having fantasies? Is he having realities? And it's clear that he's still, despite his 22 years in psychiatric care, there's still a lot of demons for him to overcome.
I guess we'll go ahead and spoil it.
Yeah.
Meg Tilly and Vera Miles.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. What?
I forget. What's her relationship again?
That was her mother.
It's her mother. I think. You're right.
But they have a old lady outfit buried in the basement of the Bates Motel, and they're making Norman go crazy because he said, "I seen my mother," and there's kids that sneak into the basement. They get murdered. So there's killings going on. Some of them were killed by Meg Tilly and her mom. Well, her mom, more than likely.
Fair Miles' character.
But you really don't really know. But Norman figures it out at the end. And what's really crazy is that's the one twist because you don't know what's happening. But the lady comes up from that hired him at the diner, and she sits down and starts talking, and he figures out that that's his mom. So that the old lady from the diner ends up being Norman Bates' mom, and
his real mom, his biological mom.
So they said she's like, I had to give you up. I couldn't take care of you, And so he's like, would you like some tea? Goes and gets her some tea, and he turns around with a shovel and just beats her in the head with it. And then he takes her upstairs and puts her in the bed. He's like, that'll do, mother, that'll do, or whatever. So very interesting. It's
very dark. Yeah.
Pretty cool sequel, I say, to the original. But let's talk about some of this trivia first. So, the sequel is not based on the 1982 novel of the same name by Robert Bloch. The original house set was used and motel was reconstructed. There's a cameo by the director Richard Franklin as a man standing playing an arcade video game, Battle Zone, in the diner that Norman Bates works at, and with his back to the camera, but turning his head briefly, showing part of his face. Norman Bates refrains from giving Mary the key to Cabin 1. Cabin 1 was, of course, the site for the infamous shower scene in the original Psycho. Kyle, you ever watched the original Psycho?
No, I've not.
You have not watched Psycho?
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those things.
So how can you appreciate this movie if you've never watched Psycho?
I don't.
I can't believe you have never watched it. Seriously?
No, seriously, I haven't.
Okay, Kyle, you need to watch Psycho and then watch this movie, and you'll have a better appreciation. Or maybe that's your problem.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
I can't believe you've never seen Psycho.
Yeah. I can't believe you watched Psycho too.
I need to call somebody. Why didn't you tell me you never watched Psycho?
Because you never asked.
But I said, let's do Psycho 2. You're like, okay. I can't. I just...
I'd like to come all this way just for you to have this revelation right here, right now.
I am
halfway into recording Psycho 2.
Kyle, that is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's probably in my top 5 of all time.
Yeah. But I don't know. I played the Dark Brotherhood questline and the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and that's basically the same thing. So I think I'm good. I'm covered.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle.
See, in the Dark Brotherhood questline, he also has a mother that makes him kill people. That's spoilers for the Elder Scrolls
Psycho,
Oblivion.
watch it.
That was released in 2006.
I'm just going to stop this recording now. Let you go watch. We're going to have to put Psycho on the TV right now so you can watch it.
I really appreciate it. Recording a podcast while watching Psycho 1.
Wow. Meg Tilly was never allowed to watch any sort of television as a child, and so had never seen the original Psycho. Oh, so her and Kyle have something in common.
Exactly.
And was unaware of its significance. Again, they have something in common. She didn't understand why the press was giving all the attention to Anthony Perkins. Same thing for Kyle. For his comeback role in the sequel. And one day on the set, Perkins overheard her say, "Why is Tony getting all the attention?" Perkins was upset, didn't talk to her during filming, and recommended that she be replaced even though half of her scenes had already been shot.
Pretty cool.
Meg Tilly's character's name, Mary Samuels, is a reference to the original Psycho, which Kyle wouldn't know anything about.
Exactly.
In that film, Marion Crane signs her name as Mary Samuels in the Bates Motel. The book upon which the film was based had Marion named Mary. At time code 2510, when Mary and Norman Bates first go into Norman's mother's room, before they turn the lights on, you can see Sir Alfred Hitchcock's silhouette on the wall to the far right. Which, Kyle, if you didn't know, Psycho was an Alfred Hitchcock film.
I know, yeah. I know it was a Hitchcock film, yeah. He's a good director.
I'm trying to get through these notes, and I'm still dumbfounded that you have not seen Psycho. So,
wait
till the audience knows. They're going to let you have it. The reflection of young Norman Bates in the doorknob when he flashes back to his mother's poisoning is Anthony Perkins' son, Oz Perkins. So that's pretty cool. That was
Oz Perkins'
son. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
He's the Wizard of Oz Perkins. Yeah.
The sequel originally conceived as a television movie. However, when Anthony Perkins decided to reprise his role as Norman Bates, the sequel became a theatrical release. Producer Hilton A. Green originally suggested Jamie Lee Curtis to play Mary Loomis because of her being the daughter of Janet Leigh and having success with Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis had a scheduling conflict, though, and did not want to return to the horror genre after getting such a huge role in the year's top comedy Trading Places. Dan Aykroyd and
oh, wow. Was it that year? Wow. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, also then did the same thing when she returned for the Halloween.
That's what I said. So she's back.
Prequel, trilogy, whatever thing they had going on there. Legacy sequel trilogy thing. It's kind of funny they did the same thing, and also they had the same idea for a crossover character to some degree.
The way that Norman says "coultery" in the kitchen was conceived during a table read of the script. Anthony Perkins actually stuttered when he said the line, and director Richard Franklin loved it and told him to say it like that in the film. This film was shot in only 32 days.
Very efficient.
Composer Jerry Goldsmith had written a musical theme for Norman Bates that the director Richard Franklin rejected. The theme ended up being used in The Twilight Zone, the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
When the sequel was released, critics criticized that the shower scene from the original film was used as the opening. Because, Kyle, at the beginning of this movie, where the shower scene, the infamous...
What?
That's actually from the original movie, Kyle.
Yeah, oh, wow. I never knew that. Thanks, Jim.
I'm not letting you live this down forever. Until I watch the film.
Yeah, man. Well, now I'll never watch film because I'm just going to love you pestering me all the time.
Well, I'm going to do that anyway, so it doesn't matter if you watch it or not, right? In 1960, Psycho made over $32 million in worldwide box office returns, whereas this sequel made over $34 million. So,
oh, wow. So the sequel's actually even more successful. That's pretty incredible to see.
Actor Anthony Perkins was given an audio cassette tape of the opening title theme by composer Jerry Goldsmith. The music allegedly brought Perkins to tears.
That's incredible. Okay, cool. Anthony Perkins definitely really cared about this role, and I'm really happy about that.
But he had a lot of problems getting other jobs because he was typecast
he wants to get known as this, but then
as Norman Bates. That's who he was.
Yeah.
When Anthony Perkins was ambient about the sequel and leaning towards passing on returning to play Norman Bates, rumors flew that Christopher Walken was going to be cast in the lead role, and the sequel would be a television movie event. However, Perkins eventually agreed to star in the sequel. In the Blu-ray commentary for the sequel, screenwriter Tom Holland was asked if Walken had almost become the new Norman Bates. He said he could not confirm or deny the reports, immediately began talking about an unrelated subject.
Hey, I'm murdering here.
Yeah, I need some more cowbell. Quentin Tarantino has stated that this is one of his favorite films and that he prefers this to Psycho.
Wow. So,
yeah, Kyle. Now what?
Psycho 2, better than Psycho 1. Wow, that gives me high hopes for Psycho 1, huh?
Psycho 1's awesome. Richard Franklin was so keen to have Jerry Goldsmith compose the score, he turned down the Universal offers of Bernard Herrmann's cues for the original film, and even his unused work for Torn Curtain. So he's like...
Jerry Goldsmith is an excellent composer. We've mentioned his name many times for many other films, so that's cool that they got him for this. And I believe the soundtrack of this film is good.
When Mary walks into Mother's room, there is a silhouette of Sir Alfred Hitchcock on the sheet, reminiscent of his silhouette at the beginning of the television show Alfred Hitchcock Presents. The set designers for Psycho 2 found many props and decor from the original film to use again, including their version of the notorious painting, The Rape of Lucretia, returning to cover up Norman's peephole in the wall of his office. It also saw a return in Psycho 3. So look, we got something to look forward to.
Okay. We'll definitely have to do Psycho 3 then, after I watch Psycho 1.
And then you have to give me your Psycho 1 review as we do Psycho 3.
And then I'll give you a whole Psycho trilogy review of do I like it.
And then you're going to go, oh, it all makes sense now. Not bad.
Yeah, Psycho 2 is okay.
But you're such a psycho, you might like Psycho 3 better than the original.
Psycho 3, the definitive Psycho film.
Meg Tilly has expressed that her worst film experience was working with Anthony Perkins and director Richard Franklin in Psycho 2, saying they were both very difficult to work with. She has also said her best film experience was working with director Norman Jewison and co-stars Jane Fonda and Anne Bancroft in Agnes of God. Interestingly, both films resulted in Tilly being nominated for several awards, including a Golden Globe and an Oscar Academy Award.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. Good for her.
Original Psycho actress Janet Leigh appears in both Psycho 2 and Psycho 3 as Marion Crane, albeit but only via archive footage from the original movie. The producer's name is Bernard Schwartz. Bernard Herschel Schwartz is unrelated. However, he is connected to the victim of the original Psycho. Most people know him as Tony Curtis, husband to Janet Leigh, parents of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Small world.
Meg Tilly did not attend the premiere of the sequel, probably because she hated the role. Film critic Roger Ebert, here we go, Kyle. Let's see what old Roger says. Gave the sequel 2.5 stars and said that it continued the story but not the spell of the original.
I think you're probably going to lean on what Robert just said there. Yeah. Without having seen the original film, of course.
I was going to say, he's saying the first one's better is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is quite the horror maestro, having penned this sequel, having written and directed Fright Night, and having directed Child's Play. When Warren Toomey calls Norman Bates a psycho at the diner and then later drives by shouting psycho at the Bates house, these are the first times we hear the word psycho spoken in a psycho film. That's actually Anthony Perkins playing the piano in the piano scene. He was a lifelong pianist and a teacher.
Oh, that's awesome.
Vera Miles said in interviews that she never really talked to Anthony Perkins during the shooting of the original. She said Sir Alfred Hitchcock was so strict and focused and everyone was bending over backwards to get this stuff right, so no one really had time or freedom to socialize. But she said that they were shooting the sequel, both she and Anthony Perkins had loosened up, and that they had a few conversations together. He was delightful, she said.
That's nice.
When Tom Holland and director Richard Franklin and the Universal Pictures Studio approached Patricia Hitchcock, the daughter of Sir Alfred Hitchcock, about doing a sequel to Psycho, Patricia said, of course, he would have loved that. Patricia Hitchcock appeared in the original Psycho in 1960 as Caroline, who was Marion Crane's friend and co-worker at the Phoenix Real Estate Developer Company, which Kyle wouldn't know anything about because he hasn't watched it.
Psycho 1's a movie? I thought just Psycho 2.
Psycho 1's... I just can't.
I know you used the chocolate syrup for the blood scene in that film. Yeah, it's good. We'll use that in trivia notes next time.
It has been suggested that the eye during the peephole scare shot when Mary Samuels looks through a peephole was actually a shot of one of Tilly's own eyeballs, so as to create a disorienting effect on the audience.
Ooh, cool. I got nothing to add to that. That's cool.
Kyle's over here just making stuff up now. According to the Psycho Movies website, they have a website, Kyle, only about 40 feet of the Bates Motel was constructed for the sequel. The original motel had been torn down to make room for Universal Studios tour. Much of the exterior of the motel is a matte painting by Albert Whitlock.
I don't think I've seen if the Psycho 2 website is still alive.
No, just the Psycho Movies website.
Psycho Movies website. Psychomovies.com. That's what I'm try out.
Body double is used in the bathroom scene for Meg Tilly's nude exit from the bathtub. Meg Tilly does not appear naked in this sequel. Several props and set pieces from the original film were found by set designer John W. Corso and Julie Fletcher, including 2 Tiffany lamps and stuffed owl and raven, the brass hand scene in Mrs. Bates's bedroom, the bedroom fireplace, the Victorian bed in Amori, and the 40-foot-long Thier Bear runner for the staircase.
I'm looking at the website now. I'll tell you when I find it.
According to screenwriter Tom Holland, Vera Miles couldn't wait to do this film after reading the script. She thought the idea of releasing institutionalized people was a very tender area, and she felt Lila had a lot of justification and disagreeing with it in the movie. She was absolutely lovely, and I kept asking her questions about her relationship with Hitchcock.
There's a psychofilms.com, but I think it has nothing to do with the original film. Because it's just giving me a lot of unrelated video clips from movies that I don't believe are Psycho 3. I don't believe this was in Psycho 3.
It might just be Psycho.
Yeah, it might just be Psycho.
Screenwriter Tom Holland said, everybody told me that we were going to get killed for doing it. They said it was going to be a career ender. That there was going to be such a hostility to us having the temerity to make a sequel to that what's considered the greatest horror movie of all time.
Greatest horror movie of all time.
He added that Anthony Perkins also objected to a sequel, explaining Psycho has upended his whole career, and he had a very ambivalent relationship with Norman Bates. He's been a young lead, and that movie put him in the position of having to play all these crazy people. He didn't want to do it again.
No, I understand that. It's a tough deal being an actor. You don't want to be typecast at the same time, though you do want an iconic role. You want to be iconic, but at the same time you don't want to be too iconic. It's a delicate balancing act that very few actors ever get.
So on the last day of shooting, all the shooting scripts ended with a message saying the final scene will be distributed to cast and crew on the last day of shooting, or according to their scripts. The only people that knew about the ending were director Richard Franklin and writer Tom Holland, so nobody knew what was going on.
Oh, wow.
The iconic last shot of the sequel with Norman Bates standing in front of the house was used as a Christmas card for various crew members. When Universal Studios presented concept art for one of the one sheet film poster, director Richard Franklin wasn't pleased with it. It was editor Andrew London who came up with the idea of using the as a Christmas card photo as the film's poster, and also came up with the famous tagline. The only person named Norman Bates killed in the sequel was Emma Spull, so he only killed one person that he's credited with, which was...
In this trivia, at least, yeah.
Yeah. In the scene where Norman Bates is chopping lettuce in the diner, and he discovers the nasty note on the order wheel saying, "Don't let that whore in my home again," the person who put that note there is Mary Loomis. Ironically, Mrs. Spool assumes it's Warren Toomey and goes off to kill him on the next scene as a result of that.
Crazy. Psycho, even.
There are 4 killers in this story. Here we go. That's more than any other slasher movie in the history of film. We see flashbacks of Norman killing Norma, and then we see Norman kill Emma Spool. Then Emma Spool kills 3 people: Toomey, the teenager, Tim in the basement, and Lila. Then Mary kills Dr. Raymond. Then Sheriff Hunt shoots Mary. That's 4 killers. In fact, there's only 7 lead characters in this movie, and most of them are killers. Only 3 of them are not killers. The main cast includes Emma Spool, Warren Toomey, Norman Bates, John Hunt, Dr. Raymond, Lila Loomis, and Mary Loomis. So Raymond, Lila, and Toomey are the only ones who aren't killers.
Should have called it Psycho 2, more Psycho edition.
And last but not least, Lila Loomis knocks the hanging lamp right before her death scene in the basement, just like she did in the original Psycho, also causing a lens flare she did in the original film when she discovers Mother in the fruit cellar. Director Richard Franklin also does a series of close-up on Lila's scream face and mouth, getting closer and closer as Mother attacks, which is also an exact homage to the shots Alfred Hitchcock used during Marion Crane's death in Psycho. All right, Kyle, hit me with Psycho 2.
You're Psycho 2. Okay. As many of you well know at this point, I have not seen Psycho 1. So, Psycho 2 appears completely kind of bog standard to me. It seems like a kind of almost a cynical sequel of the idea of hey, how do we make Norman Bates kind of an anti-hero so we can make this a franchise? And it felt like that the entire time to me, where it's I think it largely succeeded on that level where they made Norman Bates just likable enough that I want to see his story going forward, but not too nice that I don't believe he's still not an actual, immoral killer. So they got that balance pretty right there. So I think on that level they succeed in that film. The plot makes sense enough. And as a legacy sequel goes, and when there wasn't the term legacy sequel like there is now, I think it does an admirable job of getting it mostly right, frankly. So on that level, I think it kind of deserves a soft 7 from me, which is, I think, is being a little bit generous. But I think if I watch Psycho 1, I'll probably be even more generous than that and actually have more of a solid 7. I don't think it's going to go much higher than that, though. So overall, I think this film is... I feel a little bit apathetic about it, just a little bit of like, I don't really care. I'm not offended by it, but it's not necessarily great either. So it kind of feels like above average, pretty good. And if I watched Norman Bates in Psycho 1, then I might appreciate the film much stronger. I have a much stronger opinion than he have a strong 7. So 7 right now is really soft, but as I watch Psycho 1, I bet that will go up in my book, and hopefully I'll appreciate this film on a greater depth as Jimbo appears to right now. That being said, Jimbo, hit me with it. How do you feel about this film? Smash. Ow, you're hurting.
Bam.
Stop.
So, first of all, Kyle has to watch Psycho 1. That's the one I'm taking away from this podcast. Because Psycho 1 is a 10. To me, I had never seen this before. I always like to go into sequels with, hey, let's give it a shot. There's good sequels, there's bad sequels, and there's why did this even get made sequels.
Yeah.
To me, if you follow the story, this is actually a really good sequel. It keeps you intrigued. You don't know who really the killer is. You think they've painted Anthony Hopkins or Norman Bates as a killer, and if he gets out, he's going to kill again. And then when the killings start, you're like, oh, is he killing again? When you come to find out, he's not killing again. But at the end, he is killing again.
Yeah.
So you can even see Norman's progression as a character. Do you remember when the daughter got on the phone and was like, hey, this is your mother, Norman. Don't do this. So Norman figured it out because, why, mother? You told me to do this, So he knows now that he's being manipulated. So I think he plays that part perfectly. I think when he realizes that and then he sets them all up, it's just fantastic. And what can you say about Anthony Perkins? He's such a mesmerizing character. He plays this psycho really great. So for me, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's one of the better sequels that there is. Now, I haven't seen Psycho 3 yet. We could go the whole another route with Psycho 3. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll have to put that on the docket and watch that too.
Complete the trilogy.
Right. Well, there might be 4. I don't know.
I have no idea. Hopefully there's not. We'll have to be like Psycho 4, his grandson's a murderer.
So I think it's definitely a watch, especially if you're a horror fan. If you're a fan of the old Hitchcock series, definitely give this a watch. I really enjoyed it. So if you'd like to follow us on the social medias, you know where to find us. We are the Tragedy of Cinema Podcast.
Everywhere. X, right. Facebook.
Stay tuned because some other sequels we're doing this summer, you're not going to want to miss because Kyle's probably not watched the first one, so it's going to be interesting.
Should we announce the next one coming up here? So
so the next time we release one, it is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze. And I do have to rewatch 1, actually. So
I was going to say, has Kyle even watched 1? So
I have watched 1. I have watched 2. Of course, they're Ninja Turtles. I've watched them. But I do want to rewatch them because I haven't watched 1 in a long, long time.
So you're saying if Norman Bates would have been in a turtle costume, you would have watched?
Absolutely. That's all it takes for me. I'm an easy sale. You wearing a turtle costume, I'm game.
Well, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to close. That's a wrap.
And cut. Yes, mother.